Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful tasting with the Virtual Tasting Society. My name is Vadim Perlovsky, and today we're excited to travel to the world of rum. We've been drinking tasting a lot of whiskeys lately. It's been quite a while since we've had some amazing rum in our group. Some of you may remember John and Lori from Raising Glasses. They were our last virtual rum tasting with us, which was absolutely fantastic. But we're excited today to welcome Ryan. Ryan Gilbertie started a distributing company for amazing rums out here in California, and he's invited some of his friends, so John and Lori, as well as Seth. Seth, you may remember him from when we did, what was the last company he called? It was
Broken Barrel.
Broken Barrel. Yeah, we tasted through Broken Barrel. It was a lot of fun. So welcome back. I see you're on to your next venture. I've had some of your rums. They're absolutely fantastic. And it's a very interesting idea. So we're excited to taste some of your rums and I mean, just a wide range of rums tonight. We're continuing with the Raising Glasses tradition of having 8 expressions, which is powerhouse. So we're excited for that. Ryan, you're gonna have to tell us what order we're gonna taste in so we can pour that up. And while Ryan introduces himself and all of his friends and colleagues, I'm going to toss out a little poll for everyone just to kind of gauge the room of where we sit. How familiar is everyone here with rum? So I'm going to post that. But while I do that, Ryan, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about the brand, and so on and so forth.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Vadim. So, I am a distributor here, as you mentioned, and I started really just 5 months or so ago this spring. Got my licensing, which took a year. Quick little trip, in the ABC is fun little world to live in for that time. But I moved out here about a year and a half ago, and this was my intention to start this business. I carry 99% of what I have is additive free, small batch or single barrel cast strength rums from the US and all over the world. Um, Most of what I have is either made here in LA, bottled here in LA, or bottled in America by folks that you see here. The reason I wanted to come out to California is because, to be honest with you, the market out here is a little bit less mature than it is back east. Part and thanks to folks like John and Lori who have been doing this with their bottling company, Raising Glasses, for about 5 years now. We're catching up out here, and I wanted to be the middleman, if you will, between the great producers and you all, the consumer. Um, so, we're going to taste through 8 rums today. And the order we're going to do this in is we're going to start with the mainland rums. So that's Seth Benheim. He is mainland rum owner. He's sitting in his rum library right now. I don't know if any of you guys, I think the Dean, you might have been there, but he's got barrels galore in the other room and a bar and 1,000 open bottles of whiskey and rum on the wall to try. So if you haven't been there, put it on your short list. It's an incredible space. We're going to taste through 4 of his bottlings. So he has selected rums that are all from America and all bottled at full proof and in single barrel format. So we will do that in the order of first one we'll start with is the Georgia 7 year. Then we'll go to the California 8. Next will be the Florida 7 year in sherry, and then the Louisiana 10 year. So we're gonna try to do this in, we're saving the most funky, the most weird, the most unique stuff towards the end to save your palates a bit. Um, and uh, and so we'll start with mainland, and then I'll introduce John and Lori as well, which I think a lot of you guys know. But Raising Glasses, they've really set the gold standard for bottling rums in the U.S. They've brought barrels and bottles in here that no one's seen in the U.S. before. Most of it's new to California over the last year or so, and some of them are very new over the past few months. So we'll be tasting through their Full Circle 110, which is the 55% ABV 8 country blend. Um, then we'll skip over to Roaming Road, the Mauritius single barrel 12 year. Roaming Road is owned by Mike Gilmore. He's out of Wyoming. He used to own a liquor store focusing on bourbon. They did a ton of bourbon barrel picks there. And then he saw the opportunity in rum. It was underappreciated. It was underpriced. So he started Roaming Road about a year and a half ago or so with the same focus, bottling, unadulterated, full proof rums from all over the world. So we'll try his Mauritius. And then we'll go back to raising glasses for the finale. We'll do the Ethereal 3 year from Madeira Island, which is a really unique cane juice rum aged in Madeira casks on the island of Madeira. As far as I know, it's the first Madeira rum in the US, so that's very cool. We'll try that, and then we'll finish up with the Pele's Fury 3, Grand Arome from Martinique. This is the face banger, the knock your palate out of your head kind of a rum. Very funky, very unique. And they actually aged it themselves for 10 months, I believe, 9 or 10 months in an Oloroso barrel. That one's very new to the market. I'm already sold out of it, so it's popular, it's flying. So that's the order we'll do this in. I'm going to post in the chat a link to a page that you guys can reference, and it's essentially where to buy all the rums that we're trying tonight. And then if you guys have questions about pricing, I have all that too, and I can give you links to the specific pages for each bottle if you're interested. But the good thing is these are all the highest quality rums, and pricing is good. I don't think there's anything on this list right now on the shelves for over $100, and many of them are a lot less than that. So really great value. And yeah, so I guess that's good for me. I'll stop talking so we can start sipping.
All right, should I take over?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for the intro, Ryan. Thanks for having us on again, Vadim. Appreciate you opening up the group to my crazy brands and ideas once again. I appreciate you taking the risk with me. Hopefully, it pays off here. And with that said, my name is Seth Benheim. I'm the founder of Mainland Rum. We are an independent bottler of, like Ryan said, 100% American distilled rum. So we don't import anything at this time. We don't blend anything. Everything is single cask strength, and is offered to you directly from the barrel with no additives, no color, no sugar, nothing. We're just doing straight buy the barrels, bring them in, dump them. We're not doing any finishing casts. We're not really mucking with the rum that we're getting. Everything I'm trying it. I've been sampling honestly from pretty early stages in the company. I had bought a few barrels prior to meeting Ryan, but even then, I've been having him for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 months, sample stuff as it comes in now. Like we're getting stuff from all over the country, from Massachusetts, from New Jersey, Ohio, Indiana, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Arizona, Colorado, California, you name it. We're bringing in rum samples and trying to find the absolute best quality barrels at affordable prices. One of the main things about the brand that I would state, and really, if there's one thing to take away from what Mainland is doing and why it's kind of cool and important and unique, is that the rums that we're offering are generally not commercially available. Therefore, even if you were to try and look up that distillery, if it's still in business, not all of them are, or not all of them are still distilling. Some of them have converted into contract bottling, and other, business lines. They just don't, one of them lost their distillery. They don't even distill anymore. So not commercially available, meaning like this is some of the last chances you're going to get to try rum from that distillery or who that distillery was before they shuttered. And so we're looking for that as kind of our starting point as we look for older barrels. Everything's age stated as well. So even the Louisiana rum you're going to try tonight, I'll just straight up tell you it's from Bayou rum, but they've never released a 10-year and they've never released a cast strength over 50%. So, it's just interesting to try their product. And I've been getting a ton of messages from people like, this is the best thing we've ever had from Bayou. Why don't they do this? And I'm like, I don't know why, but I hope to God they don't start because I'm doing it. And so I don't want to compete with them. They got more money than me. Well, yes and no. I mean, Stoli filed for bankruptcy last year. So we'll see how they come out of that, how that dust settles. But yet and still, like, our rums are unique in that sense that they're not commercial. You can't just go to the store and find the exact same product in a different label. It just doesn't exist. And to me, that's always kind of cool. Like that's a good reason to gamble on something and try it before really know much about a brand. But even then, the accolades and awards have been phenomenal. The response has been amazing. Ryan and I have been selling out. We're on to our, I think, third distillery in California that we're kind of rifling through all the inventory we can get. And then
that's it. Like there's, we have to keep moving to the next distillery once we buy everything that distillery has ever made or will make, and then go on to the next distillery and try to continue to find the older rums. And so everything you'll see from us right now is going to be 7 years plus. So we'll start with the 7 year Georgia. That's our green label. And our labels are pretty informative. I don't know if that's in focus or not, but we tell you how many bottles per barrel, where it was distilled, the year it was distilled, the barrel size, the barrel type, the ABV, of course. We even have the coordinates up here. While I don't have the name of the distillery on there, I do have the coordinates, latitude and longitude. You can plug them in and look it up and figure out, do a little research and see which distillery, which barrel came from. So without further ado, that's my 5 minute speech, and now we get to drink some rum. So, if you haven't already, please pour yourself some of the 7 year Georgia ex bourbon cask. I've got some in my glass, so you're not alone. That's just I'm looking at the comments. It's just Ryan talking.
So Seth, with these local rums, are they sourcing essentially molasses from like a bigger conglomerate, or is it all
Pretty
locally
much,
sourced?
yeah.
Just
No, I don't have any single estate stuff yet. So like Oxbow would be single estate. They grow their own cane. They distill it on site. They harvest it and bring it over. I've talked to single estate distilleries in Florida. However, I think from a pound to pound value and just rarity, the Florida that you'll try tonight, to me as just spirits and barrel junkie and all that, the full sherry cask maturation was so much more exciting than the single estate. So I'll go back and try to get the single estate stuff at a later date. Um, from Florida, I would imagine it's pretty good, and they do have some cane juice rums at that estate, single estate distillery in Florida. It's just not something about full sherry cask maturation kind of had me, and also not just that, but they were larger barrels. So we had the sherry cask you'll try tonight is a 500 liter or 132 gallon barrel PX sherry. So that's going to be an exciting one to try as well. But before we jump to that, the Georgia, go ahead, if you haven't already, give that a nose. It's a really good entry level kind of starting point. I kind of liken this one to like the Highland Scotch of rum, if you will. It's agreeable, it's soft, it's not gonna, punch out your palate. It's not funky really at all. Ron, did you have a question or were you just raising your hand to say what up?
Sorry, a kid just walked through telling me hello, so I waved.
Totally get it. I've got little ones. I left them at home tonight. I couldn't be there at home with them. So like I was staying at work. Um,
While we're tasting this, can you tell us why you decided to do all American distilleries? I've been curious about that since I met you in LA. Like, why did you pick this?
my career has basically been all American spirits. There was a turning point. I think companies really need to set their guardrails, like define who they are at the outset and really stick to that. Like Maker's Mark is bourbon whiskey. It would be out of character for them to do rye whiskey and do a green top and all that. Like it's, if they did that, it would signal some serious desperation and like cash grab type stuff, whatever. And so when it comes to guardrails, like Broken Barrel, we were pretty, our guardrails were simple. We had to have finished whiskey. It had to be American whiskey. It had to be aged a minimum of 2 years. And we had just little things that we would never, rules we set for ourselves that we would never break. I think with Mainland, obviously the name I thought was great for the concept. There are so many distilleries, craft distilleries in this country. A lot of them have made rum. And what's interesting is that the rums that we find are generally accidents. So 9 out of 10 distilleries in America didn't lay down rum 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago thinking, man, can't wait till 2025 to put out that 10 year. They were like, 10 years ago, we can't wait until 2019 to put out that 2 year old spice rum in our gift shop and blow that out. And then the one they had already bottled never sold, never sold, never sold, never sold. and you get 4, 5, 6, 7, time flies, and a lot of these companies are closing, struggling, looking for quick cash, whatever the situation is. But these rums are anomalies. They're mistakes. They're completely lost barrels in the back of the warehouse that just were made with the intention of selling, but that sale never came. And so going in and not only clearing that inventory is helpful to these distilleries who don't have not only the bandwidth or the wherewithal to like think about aged rum in the way that I think everyone on this call perceives and thinks about aged rum as a fine sipping spirit. Like the way we're drinking it, like most of the rum that was laid down for the rum that we're going to find wasn't even intended for this glass, right? It was intended for a cocktail or, a Mai Tai or this or that. Like, it wasn't intended for this purpose. And so it aged and it aged and it aged. And knowing a lot about whiskey, I know that things can generally get better with time, depending on, where you are in the country. Either if you go to Arizona, you might have a whiskey that's pretty good in a rum that's really good in 2 or 3 years versus, Portland, Maine might take a little longer for that rum to mature and come of age. New barrels, used barrels, finishing barrels, all these different things. You have all the same levers in rum that you have in whiskey, and there's so much diversity and there's so much culture. Whiskey's like a religion, and rum, I'm finding as I've been in the industry for almost a year now, is the same way. There's a lot of culture. There's a lot more cocktail culture within rum, and 40 something percent, 43% of all rum in the United States sold is spiced rum, oddly. And you could thank, Captain Morgan and other companies for that, and Bacardi and whatnot. But yet and still, this kind of rum has a long way to go before it even starts to capture any sort of market share from that. So I like American rum specifically because of the bourbon culture that I experienced. There's so much patriotism, there's so much camaraderie, and there's so much appreciation for history. And the fact that bourbon is 100 years older than rum in American history. We were making rum in America in 1660, and bourbon didn't really formalize until the 1750s. Like it's almost 100-year predates in American history. So for all those reasons, American rum has every chance to be as important to consumers as bourbon does in American drinking culture. So that's kind of my sort of like long speech, but that's why I like American rum. And it's good. It's very, very, very good. And since I started bottling it, I have not stopped drinking it. It's just phenomenal to me. I love it. And I'm a bourbon guy, total bourbon guy, whiskey guy, scotch guy. I have 600 scotches in the room behind me. I am a massive scotch drinker, but this stuff sits right up there, every bit as good to me. With that, we can move on to the Florida 7-year sherry cask. This one's 113.6. The last one was 115.8, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 115.8. And so yeah, the sherry cask, I can tell you these are the Georgia and the Florida are both copper pot still, molasses based. The sherry cask, as I said before, was a 500 liter. It's a PX sherry cask, and it was, we reached out to the company and I tried to get a lot of information from them about it. They're closing this stuff out because it was a client's product that they never ended up paying for and closing out on. And so with that in mind, this was someone else's vision that didn't come to fruition. And so we all get to benefit from that and get to, try this rum at an absolute steal, which is exciting. We have another one of those 500-liter barrels in the back here still aging. It just turned 8. I have 3 barrels of also sherry cask, but they're 59-gallon or 225-liter, and they will be turning 8 as well very shortly here. And those ones are much higher in proof. They're around 125 to 145 between the 3 barrels. We're 146. We're actually bottling the 146 tomorrow for our customers. So very exciting stuff if you're into hazmat spirits, we have a hazmat full sherry cask 8-year coming out pretty soon. That'll be an exciting one.
Wow. About the Georgia that we started with. I mean, this is pretty classic with rums that they tend to be on the sweet side, but I'm assuming there's no sugar or anything added to it, right? It's just this is just the
Absolutely
way.
not. I
The
wouldn't
way.
characterize this as super sweet, personally. Um, I think the spicy vanilla on the back end note from Michael is pretty accurate. Um, Almond, yeah, those are about where I'm at with this. It's got that sort of marzipan, but like nougat, if you will.
Mm,
Like there's definitely a white flavor in there. Your brain goes to all these things that are white, like nougat, marzipan, almond, you know. And it's one of those things. It's sometimes, every single time I try it, depending on where I'm at in the evening or what I ate that day or how much coffee I had, it kind of changes. But more or less, it's really the second and third sip that really evolve on the Georgia. The sherry's sweeter, that's for sure, no question. And you have this introduction of fruit that is devoid from all the flavors in the Georgia. So if you're looking for like that fruitier, dark fruit, dates, currant or cherry, there's hints of that on the Florida that are not even on the map when it comes to Georgia.
and you said Florida is a PX cask?
Yes.
It just says full sherry cask maturation.
Yeah,
Uh,
I ran out of space to get the whole thing in there. I had to kind of decide between naming what kind of sherry or stating that it was fully matured in sherry because ultimately a PX cask is cool. Like this rum is PX sherry cask, right? And
mhm.
they mention it on there. They have a lot more space for text. With our label, like I had to pick something, and so I picked the fact that it was full sherry cask matured because that's just so much rarer
Yeah,
than like sherry cask rum. Um, like Dos Madeiras has the PX sherry, I believe, and a lot of the what do you call them? Oh, Ryan just spammed us with all the pictures. There you go.
Bottle picks.
Nice. Um, but yeah, that's the reason why.
gotcha. Yeah, the nose is so different on these two rums. It's I just starting off with these two showcases just how broad the world of rum is.
Well, it's American rum, just
Yeah,
American rum. These rums you'll taste from the US lineup are just one after the next. They're like almost different spirits, if you will. And then when you get into the other stuff that I've had, these other ones, I think I've had all these ones that we're tasting tonight from Ryan. I have
Yeah,
the
I think
full
so.
circle here, like for example, but um, yeah, that's what I love about rum. I mean, whiskey is obviously very diverse. It's a vast ocean of flavor complexity and nuances and whatnot. But like, I don't know, rum, I think I could comfortably debate and deliberate with someone about how much more complex rum can be than even whiskey.
wow.
Obviously, whiskey has mash bills, and mash bills can vary dramatically depending on what kind of whiskey and whatever. But the fact that rum is made everywhere, like everywhere, is just so uh humbling, if you will. And I
Uh,
I think there's this like people have always like, oh Seth, are you gonna do beer? Are you gonna do wine? And I'm like, fuck no. I'm never doing beer, I'm never doing wine. The fact that there are like what 7,500 craft breweries in the US alone and like 9 or 10,000 wineries, like I'm not touching that shit. That's crazy. Like, I don't, there's 3,000 plus grape varietals, at least. Like, I'm not getting into that. That's insane. It's hard enough to come up with a reason to buy a whiskey when you have five main grains more or less that people fuck with, and it's like it's just and rum's like that. Rum is complex. There's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of styles and techniques that people want to hone in on, especially this kind of audience and crowd. But I think one of the goals eventually is to try and not just come in at the high level, but try to come in at the lower level where people find a good, solid American rum that they can put in a cocktail and do something like that. Like I appreciate and understand that rum culture is so much more cocktail driven. than maybe whiskey is in a way. I think I don't know the stats, but I would easily bet all my money that more rum is consumed in a cocktail per bottle or per liter or per gallon sold than whiskey is. Whiskey's obviously drank neat a lot more commonly. Um, Mainland, as it exists today, is aiming to shift that ever so slightly, if we can, into sipping culture and into that sort of premium. I designed this product to sit with Lefroy and Ardbeg and these other, scotches and fine spirits on the top shelf at a steakhouse or at like a very fine dining establishment or on a bar cart in a fancy sort of allotment of spirits in a home bar. This is not designed or priced to be in the well, in a cocktail, mixed or whatever. The per ounce is crazy. It's not meant for that at all. And so I don't think any of the rums we're drinking tonight really are designed or marketed for that purpose. But I wanted to make fucking clear, like that was never the intention. But one day, under the Mainland banner, maybe we downgrade to like 29 or 39 or $49 bottles that would actually be accessible, if you will, for what we know rum obviously is thought of and whatever. But we first this right now, this. Ryan, tonight we're drinking the 8-year, right? Not the 9-year.
I think so, right? You guys have the 8-year, correct?
Yeah,
8-year
8-year.
California.
California 8-year. Yep.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
we
that's
had
the
a
new release.
9-year. We had a 9-year. Y'all could have got it, but Ryan had to go sell it all like the bastard he is. So
I blew it, Seth. I blew it.
Ryan blew it for all of you guys. Actually, this was really good too. So there's no, I think honestly we could have a long debate between the 8 and 9 about which one is more favorable or enjoyed, but this one's a little higher proof than the 9-year. The 9-year was a little lower proof at 121. This one's 128. This one is I don't know if for me it shows up backwards. I don't know if it reads backwards for you all, but
It's
No, you
fine.
can read it.
yeah, so you got the ex-bourbon cask, 53-gallon, 2017, 64% alcohol. We are just still getting this out into the market, so this is brand new. Ryan, does anyone have this for sale yet or not yet?
Actually, Vintage has it on their site. Yes, Vintage Wine
Vintage has
Spirits.
the 8. Okay, great.
Yep, they have the 8
I
and the
wasn't
9.
sure.
They actually have one bottle of 9 left. So just FYI, that's the last
Well,
one on the market.
I mean, before this call is over, I would hope that one of you all has the sensibility to buy that 9-year because it is a 95 out of 100 point score on Drink Hacker. It was fucking awesome. This one's also fucking awesome, but that one was super special. We obviously launched with it for a reason, and this is a strong backup. I was happy to wait the extra time for this to turn 8 before we released it. And yeah, it's probably my third glass of this ever since we bottled the first one and cracked the barrel open. And it's nice, Ryan. It's changed because the day you picked it up, Ryan, this was probably 10 minutes, 20 minutes out of the barrel at most. Now that it's sat for a week in glass, it has oxidized a little bit and it's gotten used to its environment. And I think it does have some more smoothness, butteriness on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, but I'm biased to both of them, right? I actually prefer the 8 to the 9. I think this one's a bit more complex. That was controversial, and I first told Seth that because he was like, "You're crazy." But then, it seems like people are pretty split between which one they prefer, which
I thought you
I think
liked
is a good thing.
I thought you liked the 9 more than the 8. I guess I had that backwards.
No, I've always been a little bit skewed to Team 8, but
Yeah, it's
going
more
from
the
bitters and
9
bottomless
was
doesn't agree with me.
oakier. The 9 was definitely oakier. The 8 is really I keep getting buttery. Like it's got like a fattiness, viscosity to it that the other 2 rums we just had did not have.
Yeah, I almost even get a little bit of citrus towards the back, which I like.
See, I get like almost like cinnamon. Almost.
Are the 9 and
Yeah,
8
there's
the same distillery?
The 8 and the 9, so all the California blue labels have been the same distillery. We had another California. This was called Barrel 01. So this one here, this black label, black wax dip. It was I'll wait for the proof to come into focus there. 80.5%, 161 proof. We released the monster into the wild. This one was a different California distillery. My first barrel, their last barrel, which was just super special. I'm like, I tasted it. I was over at the distillery. I cracked it open. It was like a 10, I can't remember, 10-gallon barrel. Yeah. 10-gallon white oak barrel, brand new char 4. I was like, shit, this is amazing. I'm like, I gotta start this company. So I bought the barrel, cash on hand. Like I just handed him a check. I'm like, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, now I have a barrel of rum. I guess I'm starting a rum business. And that was kind of the impetus for this entire, that's why we're sitting here tonight. It's why I've been doing rum for the last 4 months, 5 months. It was that barrel. And it was so good. And we tried it. I brought sample home, had my wife try it. She was drinking it. I was drinking it. I'm like, damn, this is strong, but like, how strong? Got to work the next day, tested it. We're like, holy shit, it's pretty drinkable for that proof, I gotta say. And then I had a lot of conversations with people I trust about what do I do? I mean, economically, it would make more sense to water it down, dilute it, put it out at 46%. And then this whole conversation ended up evolving into what is mainland rum going to be? Is it going to be, pick your proof? What's the best proof for each individual barrel? Da da da. And ultimately, that conversation led to the decision that mainland rum, for the time being, is going to remain single barrel cask strength rums. I think it was the absolute, by far, best decision possible. And with that, now we've got all these releases coming out, and they're all different proofs and strengths, and it's really fun to have. So the 161 was a good choice, and I think it really set the entire thing in motion on the path that it's on. And now we have we've got quite a few hazmat level rums coming out as a result of that sort of initial conversation.
The 8 and 9, the 9 are both the same distillery, right?
Yeah, 8, 9, upcoming 10, and anyone that checked out Sealbox, it's already sold out, so don't rush over to click on it. It's already gone. We did a hazmat 155 proof 8-year. So I had 2 8-years. One was a 30-gallon new oak. This is a 53-gallon used bourbon. 4 square barrel. No, sorry. 4 roses barrel was one of them, and the other one was a wild turkey barrel. I think the 9 was the wild turkey. I think this was the 4 roses.
Vintage had the 9-year on sale for 62, and the 8-year, and the 8-year 68. And when you buy them, you get free shipping in California. So you only pay tax. So it might only be.
Whoa, we did a discount for tonight. We did it just that's not the normal price.
No, well,
discounted
it's sold
tonight.
out. It's 144 all in for both. So I got both.
Nice.
Oh.
I think that's the
You just
last
sold it
9.
out?
Well, I bought both. So if I either bought the last one or their inventory's not up yet. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the last one. Bitters and bottles bought. Yeah. Extra points. Bitters and bottles bought most of the 9-barrel. They may be sold out as well. They did it for their quarterly rum club this last quarter.
Yeah,
which was really
bitters
cool.
and bottles. Bitters and bottles.com.
They had a few left over after the club members, I know. I just don't know where it landed. I can check while we talk. But
They were expecting to sell it out within a week, and that was a week ago. I haven't checked, but I didn't even realize until someone told me that the Seal Box one had also sold out, and I was like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. Which then that prompted me to reach out to Curiata, who I now am in talks with Curiata. I want to do Big Thirst and a couple others. But so anyway, the 8-year, in case you're wondering, is from a small distillery, an older guy in Pasadena named Greg Stark, who runs Stark Spirits with his wife. They're in 1,000 square feet. It is a micro distillery, not a craft, a micro distillery. They have a 250-gallon Hobart pot, copper pot still. He has background in like mechanical and chemical engineering, and he just completely revamped his own system. Even his wine pump that he uses I'm staring at this thing. And I've been there many, many, many times. I've probably been 400 hours in that distillery over the last 10 years. And I'm like looking at his pump and I'm like, dude, did you build this? He goes, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't I? I bought this piece and this piece and this was on sale. And I'm like, what the fuck? I just buy a pump, dude. Like, are you serious? He goes, no, no, no. You build it. He everything. If he could save $1, he'll save $1. It's crazy. But it's that mad scientist like vibe that makes really good rum. And actually, what he's predominantly more interested in than rum, though he loves rum, is single malt whiskey. I don't know if any of you guys are part of the Ryan, what was the one we did? LA Scotch Club?
We've
What was it
done
called?
LA Whiskey Club and LA Scotch Club, and we're
LA
doing
Scotch Club.
San Diego
I think
Scotch Club next
he's a
week, or
member
this
of the
Saturday.
LA. Greg's a member of the LA Scotch Club. He did the Pete and Meetin event and all that. But he makes phenomenal. Honestly, go up there, drink with him for an hour, and have him sell you a bottle from the barrel of that single malt. It's fantastic. It's just absolutely amazing single malt. And he's an interesting dude. I mean, I welcomed anyone to like try and copy this approach. If you don't know Greg, Greg won't answer the phone. Like he just doesn't answer the phone. So to get anything done with him, like to buy these barrels took 6 months. Not because of any other reason than he was just busy and doing shit and just didn't really pay attention when I'm trying to pay him for his barrels. So anyway, we can move on to the Louisiana 10 and then we'll move into the other countries. But last but not least is the Louisiana 10. As I said at the beginning, this is from Bayou, but forget everything you know about Bayou, which is a parent company owned by Stoli. I will tell you, Reniel is the master distiller at Bayou. He's been distilling since he was 16. He's sixth generation rum distilling, and they have the largest, it is arguably what I've read online and what they've told me, it is the largest copper pot still distillation system in the US. And to that end, these guys crank out. And they're also one of the largest American rum companies, period, on the continental US. So they make a lot of rum. Obviously, they make a lot of white rum, spiced rum, flavored rum. They are not known for aged rum or high-end rum. They did have the XO Mardi Gras series and the Cast series. Those bottles go for $200, $300, $400 a bottle, MSRP, and they are 43, 46% cast finish. They're maybe 4 to 6 years old. This in your glass is a 10-year-old single barrel cast strength version of that at over 120 proof. So I have had several people in the rum community reach out to me going, holy shit, this is Bayou rum. Like this is the best thing I've ever had for that distillery by like an eons. This is nothing like what they make and what they're known for. It would be like someone telling you like this is black velvet and you're like, oh shit, this is the best fucking Canadian whiskey I've ever had. It's like, uncut, untamed, unheard of edition. And it was really funny because they were the ones that were like, they kind of were the first ones I was buying from, and they're like, you cannot use our name. We don't want you soiling our name and ruining our reputation. And I was like, all right, that's fine. Wasn't going to do anything to the rum. I think they thought like if I was going to go turn around and put peanut butter in it and make it peanut butter rum, they didn't want that association or whatever. And then you get these reviews from like Drink Hacker where they're like, this is the best thing that's ever come out of like not just Bayou, but like America in some instances. And this is on par with, La Maison and other, the comments were phenomenal. They were like, I was, floored by them. That they would compare something we made 3 months into being in the rum world to La Maison or Holmes Key, Foursquare or whatever. And again, a lot just to kind of umbrella the whole brand, these are whiskey drinkers rums. I have picked barrels that are not funky, that are not sweet, that are really down the center aisle of oak character, char, enough of the original rum distillate flavor to penetrate, but not enough to scare someone who's not a rum, aficionado away. And so it's really right in that safe spot where a whiskey drinker could try one of these and go, wait a second, is that whiskey or is that rum or is it something? It's a safe spot that really gets people going, oh, interesting. Like I guess I like rum now because I really like this. And this is the best way to try it is to throw this in a blind tasting with a bunch of whiskeys and say, oh, hold on. That last one wasn't whiskey. That was rum. And they go, oh shit, I guess I'm a rum drinker now. So
Yeah, I'm gonna reiterate that we've never had a good Bayou ever, and we tried this when we were in LA, and we came home and we bought
I'm
it.
still like, are you kidding me? Where did you find this? And I'm really pissed that you got it and we didn't. And no, it's seriously like
I
one of
have
the
extra barrels. Let's talk after.
all right,
I bought a lot of it. I bought a lot of this stuff.
It is good, and just
It's
because you
incredible.
like this one, don't go to Bayou and buy it because you're not gonna like what they have there.
No, no, exactly. And again, that comes back to the commercially available. So this one is a 10-year. These are the single barrels, ex-bourbon cask. Now we do have some ex-rye cask, and we have different barrel formats. So we'll be releasing. There's about to turn 11, but we'll have some 15-gallon barrels, ex-rye cask that we refilled. We took some of the barrels and emptied them back in January when we received them and put them into different sizes. So we have one 10-gallon, which is already sold. Three 15 gallons, two are bourbon, sorry, two are rye, one's bourbon, and then we have a bunch of 53-gallon ex-bourbon barrels that are pretty cool as well. I tasted one, I brought one down. I was moving stuff around yesterday. I sold some whiskey barrels out of our warehouse here. And I brought some rum barrels that were the ex-bourbon that were, we call it our high rack, they're 4 high, which, has a 5-degree difference or whatever from our ground floor. When you go 4 or 5 up, it can change. Wonderful, just wonderful. It's almost 11 year, and it was, yeah, banana bread, exactly. Oh yeah, yeah. Banana bread is pretty spot on. Yeah, like a little tiramisu kind of thing going on. There's brown sugar. And you'll notice, so this is the one they actually use molasses, but then they add the cane sugar. So they do have a dual base or a split base distillate. I think it's pretty heavily weighted in molasses. They wouldn't give me the exact recipe of 80% molasses, 20% sugar or whatever. But this one we did have to list out that this was not just molasses, but they do throw a little sugar in there as well. I'm not mad at it because, and this is the one thing that I have from my whiskey side of life, which is I'm not coming into rum with this pretense that cane juice is the only way to drink rum or that it has to be super fresh or this and that. Like I've been offered brown sugar distilled rum and panela, which is a dehydrated cane sugar. I'm interested in everything as long as it tastes good and fits our criteria and we stay within our guardrails I was talking about. If it's well aged, well priced, has value and is from an interesting distillate, be it brown sugar, cane sugar, panela, molasses, cane juice. I don't really care too much. I'm not super specific about it. And a lot of the people that I'm preaching to, especially those that are on the other side of the aisle in the whiskey world, I think whiskey people would go nuts over a brown sugar distilled rum because we all love brown sugar and we brown sugar is one of the best tasting notes you can have in a whiskey. And so it may not have the same connotation or maybe the same sort of reservations that a purist or a rum aficionado would have against brown sugar. I haven't bought anything that's from brown sugar, but I'm actually really interested to try and figure out and find something that was made from brown sugar just to bend expectations and have a bunch of rum geeks go, oh man, I really like this rum. And I go, gotcha, it's brown sugar. And they'll be like, oh shit, you did get me. Like, I really like this rum, but I don't like brown sugar rums. What's happening? And I'm like, mainland rum. That's what we do. We twist the expectations. So cheers on the mainland 10 year. Uh I'll that's an hour. I'll leave it there. I'm done. Ryan, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, man. No, I was gonna ask Vadim, how long do these typically go? I wanna, and also I know John and Laura, you guys are on the East Coast, so I don't want to keep everybody too late.
You guys are good. We don't have a set end time.
Okay.
We're okay. We're always up till at least midnight, so you're fine.
Yeah, you guys match me on that. I'm a night owl like crazy. I'm just waking up right now, to be honest.
I think our record's like 5.5, 6 hours. So yeah,
Okay, we're not going for that.
We're just getting started. Great. All right, stretch
Jordan
out.
is a beast, man. I love this guy.
Okay, cool. What'd you guys think of the mainland? I mean, have you guys had any other single barrel high proof rum from America before? Like, I'm sure a lot of you have had Privateer,
Yeah.
and a few others, Balcones, maybe they have a rum. There's a few others. What do you guys
Hashtag
think? How does
Balcones.
this compare?
Don't all speak at once.
Okay, I love it, but I'm the competition, but I still love it. That's
Yeah.
like we met when we met you and at Rum Curious Summit. We were huge fans, and yeah, we've been drinking on it at
I
home.
was
Gotta
a
be honest, we weren't
customer. I
huge
was a
fans until we
customer
actually tasted the
yours.
stuff because we were like, this guy's doing all American rums. Like the balls on this guy. Holy crap. Like he actually finds 6 good bottles for his first release. And then we tasted it and then we're like, okay, all right, here we go. This is good
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, we're
That's what
obviously
I
big fans of
was.
Privateers in our backyard. So we're fans of them, and Maggie Campbell's starting to do some cool stuff down in Louisiana. But it's really great if I have people finding the good stuff here because we were at Richland Rum in Georgia a couple of weeks ago visiting Robbie, and he's doing some really creative stuff too
Oh yeah.
with just his stuff, not the
Have
regular
you
Richland.
guys talked pricing yet?
Uh, no, we
Not yet.
didn't
Yeah.
ask.
Good
1
luck with
million.
that. Good luck with that. Hats off. Hats off to you. If I see you release a Richland rum, either A, you're extremely good negotiators, or B, you, your margins are razor thin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll call it our poor land release because apparently we're gonna be poor after we buy it.
Well, Robbie's doing
We'll
some
talk offline about it, John.
Yeah, all right.
Robbie's doing some experimental stuff at his branch, not at the
They're
main.
amazing. They've been doing it since 2000. Rich. So if anyone wants to like dive deep into some of the oldest rum in America, Richland's probably the only place you can go where you can find 10, 11, 12, 15-year-old rums. They are not only expensive on the brand side, barrel side, even more. But yeah, they've been distilling rum and focused on rum since the year 2000. So 25 years in business, going strong. They don't need to do, and I think they're independently wealthy outside of the rum. They're doing their thing. Like they've got it figured out. Hats off to them. I've only tried like one or two things from them. So I feel like I really don't have quite the bandwidth to speak on their portfolio of what they can do and what they have put together. One day I'd like to go out there. One day I'd like to go out there and have that trip and really spend time and like taste that stuff. I just, for right now, I've always been a value-driven brand guy. Like we were doing Broken Barrel at $29.99 when we first started, and even this stuff, and I got a lot of people telling me like, "Oh, you should be charging for the hazmat minimum 100." I'm like, "No, I don't need to do that. Like I don't want to. I want people to try. I'm more concerned about people trying it than making, boatloads of cash at this point. I just want to make my money back and not lose money. That's probably the main thing at this point. It's not about making a bunch of cash. I think it's really about getting the name out. I don't have a huge marketing budget or anything like that. So for me, it's really going to be more about trial awareness. I think the quality is there that people, when they try it, they'll spread the word, and it'll hopefully have more of an organic virality than something that I've bought and paid for with profit margin or something like that. So
I think it comes down to rum has something to prove. The big producers have fucked it up for everybody else for a long time. Set the expectations really low for the general market. Have not been forthcoming and transparent in what they're doing, what they're putting in the bottle. So I agree with you, Seth. Like if I can just get it out into the market, I think we're all, and John and Laura, you guys know better than everyone. You guys cut your margins all the time just to get it
Yeah,
out there. So,
we have to.
yeah, we team up in that way, which is great.
I'll say as a consumer, it's I haven't had a lot of American rum. It doesn't have a big market share. It doesn't get a lot of attention. And I'm in Nevada. I can't buy any of it here, like literally any of it. So if I'm in SoCal, I'm buying my Maison. I mean, or Foursquare bottles, like the stuff that I know I'm gonna enjoy when I get back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, distribution in a lot of states in the US is really hard, especially for smaller companies like Seth and us, and is that it's like we're dealing with 50 countries, not 50 states. Every state has its own laws, its own rules. You have to find a distributor in that state. We're lucky that we have Ryan. We've known Ryan for, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years, something. And we're lucky we have Ryan. He moved out there because he knows rum and he can sell rum, which is great. But in a lot of states, you just go with a big distributor like a Martinetti or somebody like this, and then your stuff just sits in their warehouse. They don't try to sell it. You still have to do all the boots on the ground work. You've got to do all the work to sell it. They don't even try. Like rum's just not a big category for the big distributors. So getting into states like Nevada is really hard because you guys basically have what, two cities, in the whole state,
Yeah.
and finding a distributor that'll work hard enough at it, it's really tough for small brands. I mean, if you're Bacardi, everybody wants you, but yeah, if you're a small brand, it's tough getting into some states. I mean,
Well, I bought some of your guys' stuff after the last tasting because you guys shipped to me. So
we
that
do ship
worked.
we do ship to Nevada, and I think chips in California will ship to Nevada too. Am I right,
Yeah,
Ryan?
you can get rum in California from California to Nevada. That's not a hard shipping state.
Well,
That
no, High Time won't, Bitters and Bottles won't, the K&L won't.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
I think it would. But what about
Court.
chips? No?
maybe. I don't know.
Huh.
Have you tried to have you asked KNL if they'll ship, or you just tried to check out and it wasn't an option? Because sometimes they will ship if you ask them, and I'm happy to ask them next time you're doing an order there or something, because I've had them ship to many states. There's a few they don't, like Florida, I think, and a few others, but they ship to more than they advertise, I'll say.
Hmm.
So feel free to reach out if you guys, can't get it where you are, but want me to try to ask some people around here. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, and
I'll
you
I'll
end
keep
up
it in
going
mind. I mean, like
big.
the first time I bought from Bitters and Bottles, they did ship to me, and then after that, it was no go. And I have asked them. What I usually do is just ship to a friend in SoCal and just go visit.
There we go. Let me know next time you're in town. I've got about 800 bottles here that I are open. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with them. So, all right, cool. So thanks, Seth. Good stuff. Actually, Vadim, can we see the poll results, or is that just something you see for the mainland?
Yeah, let me share that one sec.
I'm curious too.
Where are they? Polls ran away. Here we go. I'm gonna end that poll. Seth, what do you think was the favorite of your bottles? Which one do you think took the night so far?
I didn't even see that.
Historically, it's been Louisiana, so that's a safe guess, but maybe Sherry Cask, 7 year.
All right. Louisiana first place and Florida in second. Yeah.
That's close.
About right.
Yeah, that's
All
about
right,
right.
cool.
That's about how it goes usually at most tastings. The Florida and the Louisiana are just stupid good. It's like it's hard to beat. So it
Uh,
doesn't mean the Georgia's not good or the California's not good. It's just comparatively we put out four bangers and some bang a little harder than the other ones. So
100%.
All right, cool. Should we move to John and Lori? Full
Hmm.
circle 110 proof.
yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Take it
So,
away, guys. Here's the bottle.
yep. Full Circle is our first ever blend. We said we were never going to do a blend. We were only going to do single cast. We are only going to do
We should
kind of.
probably, I don't know if everybody knows who we are, but we're an independent baller out of Boston, and we do I think our first tasting for the group was actually all whiskey. So we do American single malts, we do scotches. Um but lately it's almost been all rum because it seems like the market for Scotch casks has gotten pretty stupid the last few years. The quality's not there, the prices are too high, and it doesn't make any sense to buy a cask that isn't better than something you can just buy straight from the distillery. One of the original bottlings. So yeah, this seems like we can do a lot more in rum. We can provide a lot more value in rum. Um, almost everything we do are single casks, but this is the exception.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you can kind of tell them why.
So we were not going to do this. In fact, we've said no a lot to doing any kind of blends. But I guess some of you guys might know Brian Inman, who's the rum champion. That's his like go-to name, and he's in Southern California as well. And then Shannon Mustafer, who is a celebrity bartender in Brooklyn, who everybody knows. She's written books. She's really big in the tiki world. They came to us and said, would you guys consider doing a blend with us? And we're like, first we just said no. But then we're like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, since you're both famous in the rum world, yeah, if you want to make it like a real collaboration, meaning we all work on this together, then we'll do it and just try it and see what happens. So it took us over a year, maybe a year and a half to
Yeah,
make this blend.
yeah. I mean, the thing about rums is, especially in the thing about blends, especially in the rum world, is like the single cask get all the glory. And blends are always kind of the afterthought. Um, so, but what kind of sucks is that like blends are 10 times more work than doing a single cask. Like a single cask, you pick it, if it's good, it's going to be good. Blends, like you're always working on it. So, yeah, I don't know how many versions we went through.
I mean, 50, 60, 70, I don't know. We went through a lot of versions of this. It took us, like I said, nearly a year and a half, I think, to
Yeah.
get our final version.
Because you never know if you're done is the thing. You always think, oh, it could be better, and then you do six more versions, and you're like, oh wait, that one 6 versions ago was actually better. So yeah, well, blends are a nightmare, and you don't get the respect for a single cask. But the one thing that you can get out of it is having a recurring product. Because the thing with single casks is once you sell that cask, you're done. All the marketing, all the effort you went into it, all the expense you went into getting it registered and all of that just vanishes and you start from square one. So with this blend, what we did was we were talking to Ian A. Skier, who is this rum powerhouse out of Amsterdam. And they are secretly the blenders for
Everybody,
yeah, almost half of the
Black Tot,
Yeah.
you name it.
Yeah. Pussers, Denizens, Banks. Yeah, you just go down a rum aisle. Probably half the bottles they have secretly done, and then somebody else put their name on it. So
Like us.
yeah, so we got them to do a base blend, and that base blend was a mixture of countries. For the major rum countries, are Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Guyana. So those are in there. They also added some Ghana, unaged Ghana cane juice rum. So not from molasses, but just straight up fresh pressed cane juice from Africa. And they also put some Thailand in there as well. So that is what we're calling our full circle base blend, and that's what we use. That's what we're going to use every single year. But every single year, we're going to add some of the rums from our collection of private casks. And so for this one, we added some of our own Thailand. We added some Privateer. Obviously we're in Massachusetts, so we know these guys really well.
And it's interesting though, because Andrew Cabot, who is the owner of Privateer, yes, he's that Andrew Cabot whose wife was caught on the kiss cam, in case anybody's questioning. But yeah, he has never allowed his rum to be used as a blend or anything. So he agreed because he knows us and he likes us to let us do it. So it's the first ever independent bottler. Well, we've released three barrels of his rum before, but it was the first time he's ever allowed any of his rum to be in a blend. So it's kind of a big get because he won't let anybody else do it because he doesn't trust what they're going to do with his rum. He's very particular about that.
Yeah, and it was really good that we got it. We got the Privateer because we really liked the base blend that we got from Amsterdam. But kind of the one thing it really lacked was a finish and kind of a backbone, a foundation. And Privateer,
Structure.
yeah, that kind of back end structure. Privateer is one of the few rum distilleries that uses almost exclusively New American oak. So, like bourbon, New American oak gives you, a lot of those tannins, a lot of that structure, a lot of that grip, and really lengthens out the finish. So when we threw that, all of a sudden everything just locked into place. So like this, yeah, this is really what we're looking for. So while you're tasting this, any kind of finish, any kind of oakiness on the backbone of what you're tasting, probably comes from the privateer itself. Um, and the final component is Madeira Agricole, which I think is coming up later in this tasting.
Yep,
Yeah,
there
so
is.
Agricole is a cane juice rum. So again, cane juice rums are made from just the juice straight from the fresh pressing of the sugar cane, as opposed to molasses, which is the byproduct when you boil the juice down and then you pull the sugar crystals out and you have all that black garbage left. Well, that's the molasses, and that's what almost all rum is made from. To our knowledge, this is the first time that a rum from Madeira has been put into an American blend as well. And that adds kind of an earthiness, a savoriness, um, well, you should get. I mean, there's not actually a lot of it in there, but it actually has quite a large impact. So while you're tasting that, any kind of herbalness, any kind of savoriness, maybe like a little touch of funk, that's probably from the Madeira, and you're going to get a lot more of that when you taste the Madeira by itself.
Yeah. And it's interesting to note that we did this in two formats. The reason it's called Full Circle is because it was really what Shannon really wanted to do. She's a Black American, and it was important to her to tell the full circle, the full story of how rum has come across the world. Believe it or not, America, before we were in the United States, rum was made here. Was one of the first countries outside the Caribbean, and so has one of the oldest histories of rum is in the U.S. So we wanted to show US and Africa and the Caribbean and like all these different countries and tell the full circle, the full story of how rum has evolved over the last 300, 400 years. So that was the story, but we made this in two formats. The one you're drinking now is the 110, and that is very, very affordable. I think it's like a shelf price of
50-ish.
50-ish,
50.
45 to
Yep.
50 to 55, depending on sales taxes and
And Seth has the other one.
Yeah. And then we have
I
the
told you I'm a
that
customer. I'm a customer.
Yeah. All right, love it.
we proofed that one down to 55% to make it usable in cocktails because none of our rums are cocktail rums. They're all sipping rums like Seth's are. They're not meant to be poured into I mean, you can if you want to, if you've got that kind of money, but they're not meant to be poured into your daiquiris or Mai Tais. This one, it can be because the cost is there. So like you could put it in a Mai Tai. It makes a really good Mai Tai actually. If you do a split base with another funkier rum. But so this is the 110 that you're drinking. It's 55%. And then our full proof is
Yeah.
128.
60, yeah, 62%.
124.
124.2.
Yeah. So and that one is it's a lot like this, just more impactful. That's my favorite. John loves the 110. That's why it's in the tasting, I think. I don't know. What about you, Ryan? Which one do you like better?
I actually put the list together, so I agree with John. Personally, I just find it to be
Eric K from
110.
Holmes Tea told us to bring it down to 53%, and we're like,
no.
"Screw you, Eric, we're never doing that. We'll do 55%, and we'll call that Full Circle 110 for 110."
I agree as well. 55 is great. I just have both back to back. For me, 55.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it makes a perfect
easier.
old fashioned too.
Really good in a rum old fashioned, but yeah, it's probably one of only two times in our 5 years and I don't know, 60 or 70 barrels that we've done that we've pre-proofed anything down, but proofing down to us is 55%, not 40.
I know. I looked at my inventory the other day, and I think the lowest proof out of the, I don't know, 70 SKUs I have had is 48% ABV, and then the next one's the 55.
Yeah, but the
So
48
this is
was
the most
cast strength.
approachable.
Yeah, the 48 was cast strength though. We usually do just like Seth. We bottle things at cast strength. I figure you can always add water to it when you get it home or put ice in it or whatever you like to do, but you can't take water out. So I want you to experience the spirit the way it's supposed to be tasted and then doctor it to the way you like it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with adding water or ice to your rums or your whiskeys. You do it until it tastes good to you, but we don't want to make that assumption on your behalf. So that's kind of our philosophy on rum. But anyway,
Yeah, so that's a Full Circle. 8 countries, 2 different versions, and we're starting to work on next year's version. But the one thing that will definitely define the 2026 version is that we are aging the base blend in a Carigny cask. So if you are
You are?
a
I didn't
rum,
know
We
this.
are.
yeah,
We
Oh my
are.
I
God.
put it in 2 weeks ago. It's all sitting in there. So Carigny is a dead distillery. It's probably it's basically the Pappy of rum, except that they haven't made it since 2000.
Two
The
or
Port
three.
Ellen. Port Ellen
Yeah.
of rum.
It's the Port Ellen of rum. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, super extreme, all tobacco and all of that. And so we bought a cask of that, and obviously we bottled the Carigny, and we're like, we're gonna squeeze every possible bit of value we can, so we're aging all of that in the Carigny cask.
By far the most expensive cask we've ever bought. So we're going to use that till it dies.
Right.
So yeah,
Refill it,
next year's
refill it, and
next year's
refill
we'll,
it.
huh?
Refill and refill and refill.
Yep.
Yeah,
Never
I don't
stop
care if we put
refilling
Seven
it.
Up in there. It's gonna be Carigny aged Seven Up.
Yeah,
Everything's gonna be Carigny aged from now on.
exactly. I love it.
Carigny aged bottled water. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's right.
Look, we're going to keep using it.
Dirty water.
All right. Does anybody have any thoughts or tasting notes on it? Any thoughts on at all? I can't read the chat because I'm old and blind.
It's so good, guys. It's so good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, the thing about blends is like, someone says, "Yeah, I don't like your single cask." And we're like, "Okay, that's fine. You don't have to like it." But if somebody says, like, "I don't like your blend," it's like saying, like, "Yeah, I think your kid's ugly." Like, wait a minute, I made that, and you think it sucks? Come on.
As someone that's indecisive, I don't know how I would ever be satisfied with the blend. Like you mentioned, it'd be a little
Yeah,
better if
well,
we just added this or that. I mean, how do you know? It's just wild.
It was literally 18 months of
yeah.
over and
Well, I'll
over.
tell you what made it even worse is that we did 3 tastings that were called Beat the Blender. So we had people taste the full circle, and then let them taste the separate components, and then we let them taste a couple other releases that we had done, and then we said, "Go for it. Try to make a blend that beats full circle." And we're like, these people never beat our blend, and
Yeah.
so it was all at the end. It was all just a blind judging. So like, there's no way that it could be, people could vote, just to just to screw us or anything like that. And every single time we did it, all 3 times, somebody beat full circle. So that got us thinking like, wait a minute. And we looked at what.
One time it was our kid.
Yeah, that was the worst. One of our kids beat us. So that's humiliating. But we discovered 2 things. One is all of the blends that they made were tasted against our full circle 110. So the 55%, all of those were cast strength. So we're thinking, oh, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't be bringing it down that far. And the other thing is, I believe all but one of the ones that beat us put Pele's 3 in it, which is the final thing we'll be tasting today. So yeah, if you have
That's
any
cheating.
They cheated. They cheated, but they cheated right. So guess what's going into the next blend? It's going to be Carigny aged, and it's going to have some of that damn Pele's 3 in there, and we're not going to get beat next year when we do the Beat the Blender tasting.
Wow, I'm excited for that. I did not know that was happening either. So put me on the list. Let's get some out to Cali.
Oh, you're gonna have some, bud. We got like 500 liters of it.
Yes. The more you can get, the better.
All right.
All right, cool.
I think you have
So I think, yeah, we'll do Roaming Road next. So show you guys the bottle. So this is done in the same bottle as the Worthy Park from Jamaica that they use. This is a 12-year from Mauritius Island in the Indian Ocean. Like we've said, rum is global, and this is about as far away from here as you can get. It's 63.7%. It's a column still, and it's ex-bourbon aged and then finished in a cognac barrel. I don't know the split on how long in the cognac barrel, but it's finished. My assumption is it's probably 8 or 9 months or so. This is a cane juice rum. So as John and Lori mentioned, cane juice is going to give you a lot more of that. Some call it funky, some call it vegetal, some call it herbal. Could be plastics, it could be rubber, it could be vinyl. It just depends. If you've ever had a Clarin from Haiti, you know how wild it can get. But this one was aged for 12 years. So as I mentioned, Mike Gilmore, the founder of Roaming Road, he was a bourbon guy to start, and he had picked hundreds of barrels. I don't know if it's hundreds, a lot of barrels for his store. So he wanted to make, much like Seth, rums that were approachable for the bourbon drinker. So most of his rums are fairly well aged and have a decent amount of oak influence. So what that'll do is that'll actually tamper down the cane juice character a little bit, but it'll be rounded out by the barrel. And to me, so he released I think it was 6 rums in his second release, which was earlier this year. The Mauritius 12 was probably my favorite, maybe tied with the Belize 18, which the Belize 18 is just a molasses bomb. It's, very oaky. It's very sweet. It's delicious. But I really enjoyed this one because it's almost
Yeah,
like a
we
gateway to cane juice, like the marijuana of rum.
our bottles all say Jamaica.
Oh, you've got the Jamaica. Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I can pivot on that.
you
Cool.
gave us the Jamaica. We're drinking the Jamaica rum.
Okay. Oh, Mauritius might be another one. Okay, another tasting. So forget everything I said. It was all BS.
Because I
So the
remember we
Jamaica,
drank the Mauritius when you were at my house, and this one tastes so funky. This is totally not the Mauritius.
maybe that was okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, oh, that's what it was. So when I did the tasting at your house, we used the Jamaica for your cocktail, right?
No, we used the Mauritius for the cocktail, and it was really good in the cocktail.
Okay, we're going all back and forth. All right, next time, I'll promise we'll do the Mauritius in the next event we do.
Okay.
So the Jamaica, let me pull that one up. So that's a 12-year. It's a Worthy Park distillate. So I guess it's kind of ironic that they have the same bottle style. So this one's going to be a pot still, a molasses base. So Worthy Park has 3 different marks. So it's kind of like a mash bill, but for rum. So a mark is going to be the recipe, if you will, or the style, or the ester levels, the funk level, depending on how they do it. So Worthy Park has 3: Worthy Park Light, WPL, Worthy Park Medium, WPM, and then I guess it's WPH, Worthy Park Heavy. Is that right, John Laura? Do you guys remember? No, it's Worthy Park Extra, I believe, WPE.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
WPE.
That's the highest
yeah,
one.
Yeah. High
yep.
ester.
So similar to like Hampton, Hampton has a bunch of different marks that go up in ester and funk levels. Worthy Park has 3. 90 something percent, I would say, of their releases and the casks that bottlers choose are Worthy Park Light. So it's going to have the lowest ester count, the least amount of funk. It'll have a little bit. Um, and then Worthy Park Medium would be next in line, but it's got to be, probably 10% or so. Um, I don't know. I've seen more than 1 or 2 Worthy Park Extras ever. I don't know why. Um, Especially with the obsession with Jamaican funk. It's kind of, it's odd that they don't do more of it, but I think that's their thing. So this one's 64.1%. It's pot still, like I mentioned, American oak, and then ex-bourbon cask. So you can get some of that, citrusy stuff coming from the Jamaican funk. You get a lot of oak on it as well. To me, this is actually lower in ester character than I would expect for a Worthy Park medium. But my guess is that's probably from the casks, just more active casks. I don't have it in front of me to pour right now, to be honest, so I can't give you any fresh notes. But what are you guys picking up? What do you see? What do you taste? What are you
So I
getting, Tim
stepped out of my
or
room, came
Jordan?
back in with the door was closed. Like, if I had a lot of mash, I'm afraid my office is going to explode. It's super. There's a funk to it that's really different, interesting. It's not, as a bourbon guy, it's not like the flavor I necessarily go for when I'm picking my bottle at night. That doesn't mean that I'm not enjoying it or thinking it's there. It's just it's certainly different from anything we've had. Um, I had a basic overall question, and I don't know if it's the right time to ask it, but I'll just throw it out there. Um, I went to Brazil 25 years ago, fell in love with cachaça. Trying to understand the difference between sugarcane rum and cachaça. Is this like a bourbon versus Tennessee whiskey situation where it's like technically there's a difference, but maybe square could be a rectangle, but not all rectangles are squares. I mean, does cachaça meet the definitions of a rum, or is there something about cachaça that disqualifies it from being a rum, even though there are sugar cane juice based rums? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. It's a good question. I'm not super familiar with cachaça. I do know I'm familiar with what it is. What I will say is the rum world has many styles and very few regulating bodies. And so if one country wants to decide to call it something else, they can do it for the most part. And nobody's going to tell them not to do it. I know there's a style in Mexico called, I believe it's Charanda, which is essentially cane juice rum, but it's from this area in Mexico, and so it has this name, and it's great. I mean, good for them, right? Have their flag and have a style that they can reference back to their area, but it's also super confusing to everybody else. What am I drinking? Why is it called something else? Does anybody else? Do you guys know more about cachaça as far as if there
I
are
think it's
very
just the
specific
geographic.
differences?
It's just a geographic. It's rum. Clarion from Haiti. It's just rum, but it needs to be specific. It needs to be not machine driven to be called a Clarion. So, like however it's said, it's
Gotcha.
Brazilian rum.
Yeah, it's definitely cultural. Like,
Yeah, it does need to be cane juice, not molasses based to be cachaça. There are actually some, if it comes from Brazil and it's cane juice, like it's supposed to be called cachaça and you're not supposed to call it rum, but there's a lot of bottlers that will call it rum because they don't want it to be thrown into the redheaded stepchild section of the liquor store. So if you see Brazil rum, yeah, I mean it's pretty much cachaça, especially if it's
Is this a all cachaça is rum, but not all rum is cachaça situation, or not
yeah.
really?
kind of, yeah.
Brazilian rum is cachaça is kind of
It's
the easy way to say
And
it.
so if a
Like
cocktail calls for cachaça, what do I replace it with so I don't have to go out and buy a bottle?
Buy
Uh,
cachaça and caipirinhas, man. Go to Brazil, hang out at like I did during Carnival, drink caipirinhas, and you fall in love with it.
that's what
And,
Caipirinhas.
and be
we
20
first
years old. That helped a lot. I was a lot more fit. It was good.
well, we first had cachaça and caipirinhas in Costa Rica in our honeymoon, which was 20 something years ago.
we didn't know.
And we didn't know what we were drinking either, but it's not as funky, I find, as a lot of cane juices, like the Jamaican cane juices. It doesn't have as much of that funk and that rotten banana kind of thing.
I
Uh,
totally agree. That's why I was wondering if there's a difference because I do find it to be, it's strong. Like to me, it's like the ethanol or alcohol taste is a lot more intense, like when you just drink it. So that's why, you add a little bit of mint and sugar and ice and you're in shape. But it's,
lime.
yeah, and lime. Yeah. But it's interesting how, yeah, other cane juice is like way funkier. So I didn't know if it, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'd
I
say
think
I think a lot of it. There's two main factors that impact ester count and flavor profile. Both having to do with fermentation. One being what yeast are they using? Are they using a pre-made yeast or a specific species? Or are they doing open top fermentation where it's the yeast in the air of that region? That can change the entire profile. And then it's also how long they ferment for. So
Dunder.
Dunder too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is big in Jamaica, but not so big in Brazil or even in Costa Rica. So it depends. I mean, if you're not using dunder or muck pits or anything, you don't get all that funk. But
yeah.
you
More
the cane.
dunder I've seen in like molasses distillations than cane juice. I don't know. I'm sure it's not exclusive to molasses.
No,
Um,
no, definitely
but
not.
if you have like a 2-day fermentation, which is pretty standard for other spirits or basic rums, versus you do like a 2-week, 3-week period, like some of the ones that we carry. The Renaissance is 15 days or 2 weeks. The rum at all, Robin does it for a couple of weeks, and that allows the esters to develop and likely get more extreme or more funky, more unique. So
But there's also a difference between like, okay, the American thing versus like Brazil or Haiti, you're talking about Claren or whatever. The geography, the landmass, the terroir, just the elevation of like Denver versus, Death Valley, right? Like, you have below sea level and 8,000 elevation, 9,000 elevation. Like, that's one of the things to kind of take away from all this is that each country is almost like each state is like its own country. And so rum from Brazil or cachaça or a Claren from Haiti or something that's more funky from Worthy Park out of Jamaica, you can find not, I don't think as strikingly different, but you can still find massive and notable differences between Colorado and Louisiana and Portland, Maine rum. It's crazy.
I think the biggest line you can, if you need to draw one line in rum, is going to be column still versus pot still. You get your Spanish style rums like your Puerto Rico and your Cuba, they're and probably cachaça. I'm not going to get them right. I'm sorry.
Cachaça.
Cachaça. Those are going to be mostly column still, so they're going to be a cleaner spirit to begin with. Whereas your Jamaicans and your Clarins, those are going to be pot still, and you're going to get a lot more flavor from the ferment coming through. So yeah, there is one of the brands of Brazil Cahash. Man, why?
Brazilian rum.
They've started to try to make some more tasting or sippers, and there's one brand that comes out. They've got like 6 different woods, and I think that everyone owes it to themselves to try the Ambarina. That's like the traditional Brazilian wood. Golden Tiki, if you're ever in Vegas, they've got them all. I think that they've probably paid to get
That's
on
a
that.
great bar. That's a great fucking bar.
I'm there.
Speaking of Amberana, go ahead, Tim.
I was just going to say the question came up a minute ago about which cane juice rum is most similar to cachaça, and I would say if you've tried any of the Hawaiian agricole rums, are going to be closer than like your uh, the ones that are traditionally from the French colonized islands, for example, which tend to have those heavier flavors. But those Hawaiian agricoles, so thinking like Kohana or Kuleana, both have a bottle that's just the Hawaiian agricole. That might be something to seek out if you like that style of rum.
Yeah, I was also going to say the one that we import from Rosalie Bay in the island of Dominica, not the Dominican Republic, but Dominica, also doesn't have that funk, but it's a sugarcane juice that tastes a lot like cachaça. Um, it's really good. It's at a decent price point, and it's kind of got that same kind of flavor. But yeah, I don't know. Do we have it in California, Ryan? I don't even know if we've shipped it out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we do.
It's amazing rum.
Yeah, it's really good. It's only 40%, but I mean, it makes a really good
48.
a tea punch. And yeah, if you like those cachaça kind of drinks from that part of the Caribbean, not the Jamaica part, it works well like that as well. But yeah, it's
I was
very
going to
good.
ask Seth if he has any plans of doing Kahana out of on Hawaii because that's not part of the mainland.
So mainland is literally the mainland. That's the question. So no Puerto Rico, no Virgin Islands, no Hawaii, no Alaska.
I
Oh
will convince
man,
you to do an Alaska someday. I will do it. I don't care what
We'll
it
figure it
takes.
out. We'll figure out how to figure that out. But ultimately,
It's technically
right now,
on the mainland. It's not
Yeah.
an island. I'm
is
just
gonna
saying.
stay
Mainland,
mainland should stay mainland for the time being, and then
Ryan, luckily you know enough independent bottlers of rum. You can find someone to bottle it for you.
Alaska rum.
I've got all I need right here. Don't you worry. If there's an Alaskan distillery making rum, we will find it.
Oh, there is rum in Alaska, and obviously, I was just in Hawaii, and I went to Koloa rum on Kauai, and then I bought back a whiskey from Old Pally Road, and tried a lot of rum while I was there. That was local. I went out of my way to try and get as much as I could. I've had Kuleana. I think Kuleana is probably my favorite Hawaiian rum so far that I've had. I think they do a really good, honest rum. Koloa seems a bit commercial, and the flavor stuff while it's produced in a very genuine and authentic way. And I gotta say, their coconut rum was fucking amazing. Like it was so good. I couldn't bring myself to buy a bottle, A, because I can buy it here, but B, because I don't need coconut rum because I wouldn't use it. But Kohana also makes some good stuff. The best stuff I've tried from them, I have not seen in store though, from Kohana.
Which
Really
one was
Kohana,
that?
It's really hard to get money here unless you're a part of their club. I
well,
think that
they specialize in like the chocolate one and then the white rum, but they don't have like the age stated rums are like I think distillery only or something.
Which is where independent bottlers and cask strength single cask come in because they
yeah,
don't really sell it much.
Kuleana, I think only one of their expressions is actually all Hawaiian. Most of them are blends that include rum
Really,
from a lot of other places.
really
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
unless you go to their distillery and go to their tasting room, then you can get some.
interesting.
There are some other expressions that are all
Because they
from
were
their
at a
agriculture.
trade show and we tried everything they made and it was delicious. I mean, it was really good stuff. And kudos to them. Good blends, good choices in what they put out. But oh, it
Yeah.
sucks to hear that it's not all theirs. I thought it was all theirs.
yeah.
It's also it's also
Kohana,
go ahead.
Kohana is going to be the purest Hawaiian rum, I would say.
God.
And you want to look at the side of the bottle, and if you go and see a white rum at the store, look at the bottle and see if you already have that white rum. It might be a different variety of cane, and you might find that the bottle tastes entirely different than what you have at home.
Yeah, it's also important to note that all cane juice is not agricole. So Hawaii does not have the designation. It's not agricole rum. It's cane juice rum. You can
Yeah.
only have cane juice rum in Martinique, Dominica.
Not
No,
Dominican.
there are four countries that can do.
Yeah, it's Martinique, Reunion, Guadeloupe, and Madeira are the only
Have
ones that are
agricole.
Yeah,
technically
you can't call it
What is
agricole.
it
So
called?
Kohana.
Appellation, the origin or whatever, AO or OI or
Yeah, I think
yeah,
there's a GI, but the problem is that the
GI.
US does not have to respect those GIs, so that's how Kohana has been able to put Hawaiian agricole on their bottles,
but it's
because
really
US
not.
doesn't
The
really.
US not following global registrations?
No,
That's so
Shocking,
shocking.
shocking,
shocking, shocking.
shocking. But yeah, no, it's
That's crazy. I couldn't believe that.
but it's technically ripping off the regions that are actually agricole by calling their rum agricole. They could call it cane juice rum, which is true, and that's what they have, but it's not agricole. So just really important to make that distinction for the poor countries that are making it that need to get that designation to make their rum sell because they work really hard at it. So another political thing in the world of rum, imagine that.
Everything else is just sparkling wine. It's not
Michael
agricole.
says next
Sparkling rum.
pour. What's the next pour?
Next pour, ethereal. Back to you, John and Lori. Let's get in some
Oh, so speaking
more
about
cane
agricole,
juice.
Speaking
yeah,
about real
Yes.
Ryan,
yeah.
hold the bottle up. What is this one?
I don't have one in front of me. I'm sorry. Or do we? Is there one over there? I don't know. No, probably just Pele's. Oh yeah, we got one.
Reflection's a little rough, but
We have to move out of the picture to get the focus. Nope, not working.
You gotta take your blur off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look even older.
While we're doing that,
I've got it up.
Ryan has it. Ryan has it
yep.
up.
Okay,
mine's
there we
good.
go. Yeah. So this is an agricole. Though if you look at the label, it doesn't say agricole because Madeira does not want you to call it agricole unless it's actually bottled in Madeira. So we could have done it anyways, but we decided to respect the wishes of the Madeiran rum authorities. But so Madeira is technically part of Portugal, but it's an island in the Atlantic. It's actually nowhere near Portugal. It's actually off the coast of Africa. Um, so we are the first independent bottler to bring in rum from Madeira, and we couldn't figure out like why are people not bringing this in because
It's really good.
it's really good. It's unlike we think it's unlike anything else
I
that
love this rum. I
there.
freaking
Yeah,
love it. I can't get enough. It's very like polarizing at times, I think, for some people, but I
yeah.
just can't get enough of this stuff.
Yeah, so the reason it's polarizing, yeah, it's an agricole rum. So it's made from fresh cane juice. It's definitely gonna get some funk. It's gonna get some savory notes to it. It's gonna be an umami bomb. So, if you're going in there looking for, something that's, a brown sugar, delicious brown sugar, easy drinking. This is not it. This is amazingly complex. I even get like bits of rhubarb and some vegetal notes in there. Once you get hooked on this stuff, it's hard to go back to other rums. Uh, but this is a rum that we discovered when we were at a rum show in the UK, and the distiller this distiller is actually in the basement of the distiller's house. It's essentially a one-man operation.
What?
It's so small that his son can reach underneath the floorboards under his bed and touch some of the casks. This is micro distillation.
I
Um,
think he does like 20 or 30 casks a year. He doesn't do a lot, right?
yeah, yeah,
There's something ridiculous.
yeah,
Like
he
we're gonna
just
go
does.
see him in April
That's
and go through it.
wild.
But this is a 3-year rum. So it spent 3 years in Madeira wine casks, because shockingly, in Madeira they have a lot of Madeira dessert wine. If you haven't had Madeira dessert wine, you should try it because it's not expensive, and I think it's incredible stuff.
You like it better than port?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's more complex than port. It's got like it's got the complexity of sherry as well. And it's also pretty much indestructible because it's already been cooked. So you could leave it out in the sun for 50 years, crack it open, it probably tastes pretty much the same as it did the day that they put it in the bottle.
I'm not a fan like him, but we do have bottles of Madeira that we've had open for 5, 6 years in our downstairs, our wine fridge that we've had open forever, and it still tastes the exact same as
Yeah.
it did when we opened it. So it doesn't go, some wines like 2 days after you open it, you just want to toss it. Not Madeira.
So what you're tasting is not just the agricole cane juice, but you're also tasting the effect of that rich, sweet Madeira wine. And that, to me, that combination of sweet and savory is that's just right in my wheelhouse. So yeah, we were big fans of this.
We stalked him actually.
Yeah, yeah,
He was kind of running from us.
we came on a little strong when we were telling the distiller that like we really want your stuff, and he's like, get these crazy Americans away from me. And but it worked out. Now we're all friends. We're gonna go hang out at his house next year, and we're gonna bring in the rest of his line. So the real true Madeira rum is unaged, and we didn't have the courage to bring that in, but now that people have gotten used to the idea of Madeira agricole, we're gonna bring in like the real pure white, never touched a plank of wood stuff. In addition to some older expressions as well. So he's got a 6 year that just came out, and Madeira age statements are super bizarre. You're only allowed to name the age statements in increments of 3. So there's no such thing as a 2 year. There's no such thing as a 5 year. Um, they will round it down. So if
But
you're 5 years and 350 days, that's
that's
a
a
three
3 year.
year. Yeah. So yes, very
You can only
authorized.
have 0, 3, 6, or 9. So even their unaged stuff could be 2.5 years, but they have to call it 0 until it hits 3 years. So it's really weird. So if you see something that says 6 years, you could be drinking 8.5 year. You don't know. But if you have Portuguese liquor stores in your area or little Portuguese grocery stores, that's where we find the best Madeiras actually, is these little tiny grocery stores that somehow get a carve out. And they have it, and they have stuff there that you won't find in your liquor stores. So if you're ever in a neighborhood, I know there's some in Texas, for example, that have Portuguese grocery stores. Go look in their little wine shelf, and I bet you'll
Yeah.
find some really good
Yeah,
Madeira
they
rum.
may yeah, they may have typically they have 40% unaged Madeira rum because that's what they just drink that all day long. This is 60, I believe it's in the 60-ish. Yeah, about 60.4 ABV. So this is probably not what they're drinking in their homes. But it's certainly what we're drinking in our home. So yeah, hope you guys like that one. Not everyone's gonna like it, but if we can pick up a few Madeira fans here and there, we call that one a win.
It's definitely a 50-50, but I like the lushness. Like I definitely feel like I'm getting a little bit of the Madeira grapes on it, even though there's no grapes in it and no Madeira wine in it, but I just kind of get that lush fruity thing on it. So some people like it, some people hate it. It's very 50-50.
Yeah, and if you call back to the full circle, this is the Madeira rum that was in the full circle as well.
It'd be really interesting to do a side by side of this versus the unaged to versus just regular wood to see how much the Madeira wine influences it. Because I'm getting like I think Madeira wine casks do have a very distinct influence, and I'm definitely tasting it. And so I'm wondering how it would compare to just regular wood versus the spirit, because like it's really interesting to me. So it'd be like an interesting Vadim side by side to do like sort of the three. Uh,
We actually did a tasting here in Boston for a group of about 25 people where we did our Madeira rums with a pour of Madeira, a sherry aged rum with a little pour of sherry, and another, what was the other one we did? We did, Pinot de Charente, because we have one rum, Foursquare that we aged in Pinot de Charente. So we did the three and did it with the three wine pairings next to it to let people taste how the cask influenced the rum. It was a fun tasting. So yeah, Vadim, if you want to do that one day, we could definitely do something like that with you to show how the cask influences the spirits because
And you're
it's
saying the wines actually don't get oxidized as like a wine would? We can actually make sample bottles and it wouldn't be a
Yeah,
problem.
Madeira would be
just
fine.
wines
Yeah.
are okay.
Sherry would be a little touchier. Port is probably pretty stable.
Okay.
But yeah, Madeira is bulletproof. You almost can't kill it.
And the Pinot de Charente's pretty okay as long as you're not talking about 2 weeks on a shipment. But if we ship it out like 3 days before the tasting and
Well,
you
no,
know,
you ship it out. That we ship it out a week before the tasting. So so Jane bottles it Friday night, goes out Saturday, and then we do the tasting on Thursday.
then we just tell them to stick it in their fridge until the tasting.
Oh, that's fine.
It would work. But Madeira would work anyway because Madeira is cooked. It's
Okay.
literally cooked. But the rest of them, it's kind of a fun tasting to do. People here really, really dug that. So
Yeah, it was incredible to me that because I think all of us really came from the whiskey world, and we've all had sherry finished scotches, and but the number of people that have actually tasted sherry itself that say they love sherry scotches is surprisingly low. So it was a really fun tasting, and what we found is most people don't like sherry, even if they
Depends
like
on which one. But
scotch.
yes, I
I,
recently tasted.
I am in that camp. I do not like sherry,
Yeah, I'm
but
Which
crazy.
one?
I don't like sherry. I don't like
Have
any
you
of the
ever any of them? Well, if you have a Oloroso or a Amontillado, it's super dry, so it's not a PX.
Yeah, no, I don't like
Yeah,
I don't like this
you
red
don't
wine.
you don't like oxidized the flavor.
Sherry is a beautiful thing. One of my favorite quotes of all time is that sherry butts drive me nuts.
Yeah. John loves it, but I'm like more in your face, bold spirits. I
No,
just
my wife is the same way, actually. My wife does not like any of the sherry or the wine finishes at all. And she goes, wine is wine, whiskey and rum is rum. Like, keep them separate. Like, she's new American oak, char four, or wine and nothing in between. She's like, there should be no blending of categories at all.
Did
Me,
you guys
I'm
finish your
an
liquid?
Oloroso guy all the way. Give me Oloroso or give me nothing. Like, I'm all over it. So
maybe I'm a super taster. Maybe she's a super taster.
she might be. Secretly, she might be, but she won't admit it because then she has to talk to me more about this stuff. And I think she gets enough as it is, and she wants to keep it out of the house and keep it here at the office. And
Uh,
she's smart for that too. She's brilliant. So I'll give it to her.
Michael says his wife can smell the Pele's across the room. So I guess we should move on to Pele's.
Yeah. Is that next?
Is that next, right, Ryan?
It is.
Yeah, that's our
Our
finale.
last one.
By the way, we voted and it's pretty much 50-50 on the yes or no versus for the Madeira rum. So you guys are you're right on it.
Oh, good. Yeah, 50/50 is about there.
That's about normal.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys do finish your liquid in Madeira as well? When we
Yep.
tasted your
Yep.
liquid?
We
Yeah.
did.
And
And
they did a Yowie Australia in Madeira too.
Yep. We have more things coming, Asian Sherry, because John loves it.
Yeah, we're aging rum et al in that
Yeah.
same Madeira cask right now. So
You'll soon have some rum at all, Madeira age. I mean, I'm sure.
Aged rum at all.
Yeah.
Who thought that was even possible?
yeah.
Mm.
Wait, this Pele's turned,
Dunder or
right?
no Dunder? Is
It
it
went bad.
Dunder or no Dunder?
I can't get this to show up. Anyway, all right, so let's do the Pele's 3 before everybody runs you out of your house.
Pele's Fury. Here you go.
We have some
Martini.
more Pele's coming. We ordered a lot more of this, and we're gonna do 3 new aging experiences. But this one,
So this is Pele's 3. Obviously, it's the third in the series. So Pele's Fury is from Martinique. It's called a Grand Arôme. So Grand Arôme in French basically translates to big stinky. So if all you can smell right now in your entire room is something that's big and stinky, it's because of this Grand Arôme rum. A lot of people think that it's cane juice rum or agricole style rum because it's funky, it's super aromatic. But actually, all Grand Arome rum is molasses rum that they have just fermented for eternity. So it just like Ryan was saying, the longer you let the yeast chomp away at that molasses, the more and more esters it's going to put out, and the esters are what gives it its aromatics and all of its funkiness. Um, when we released Pele's Fury, we were like, I don't know if people are actually going to drink this stuff because when the distilleries made Grand Arome, they never actually intended human beings to drink this stuff. It really had two purposes. One was for baking, and the other was
Chanel number 5 is one of the main ingredients of Chanel number 5
yeah,
perfume.
yeah. It's supposedly one of the main ingredients in a lot of perfumes. Um, but then some maniacs, probably the same maniacs that think Octomore is awesome, also said, "This is great. We should be drinking this stuff." And next thing you know, like you've got people drinking Grand Aromes, or Hampton has their most extreme mark is the DOK, so very similar. Just something where you've let the yeast just go wild for too long, um, or maybe just long enough. Uh, so one thing that we really liked about Grand Arome, this unaged super high ester stuff, is that when you put it in a barrel, it just sucks in the influence of the barrel really quickly. Um, I think this was somewhere between 6 to 9 months in an Oloroso cask. We did cheat a little bit because the Oloroso cask is actually a quarter cask, so it's smaller than a standard way smaller than a standard sherry butt, which is
Berry butts are like 500 bottles.
yeah, you get about 500 bottles out of a sherry butt. American standard barrel, you're gonna get about 200 bottles out of it. And quarter cask, you're kind of looking at about maybe 80, 90. So the smaller the cask is, you're getting more wood influence because the ratio of surface area to liquid is higher. So if you imagine you've got a gigantic sherry, but well, you've got all this liquid in the middle that's not actually touching any wood. But when you shrink it down proportionally, there's more wood contact. When we say this is 6 to 9 months, you factor in the quarter caskness of it. You could probably bump it up. It's probably about the equivalent of about a year. Um,
Lots of wood exposure on the inside. So
yeah. So what we love about this is that you do get all those aromatics, you do get all that funkiness, but it's kind of tempered by the sweetness and the nuttiness, the jamminess of the Oloroso sherry, and I think that just makes it more drinkable and more pleasurable. I think some people drink these high ester rums more as a drug. It's like Octomore to me. Octomore is a drug, okay? It's not really a scotch.
he says that, but I love Octomore.
Yeah, you do love Octomore. But it's nice to throw in a little bit of decadence in with all of that, all that wild intensity. Yeah, we're pretty much sold out of we definitely sold out of Pele's Fury 2, which we aged in a Mount Gay cask. We're almost sold out of this, which we aged in an Oloroso cask. So we're ordering a whole nother big drum of Grand Arome, and we're going to make more of this. And we're talking about our Madeira cask. We'll probably try running some of this through the Madeira, and
maybe Kearney. I don't know. No, we're not going to write.
We're not good.
We're not writing our Kearney
that
cask.
would wreck our Kearney cask. But yeah, Pele's Fury 4, maybe a Madeira cask version of this.
Yeah, but this is
I will
really good. If you have a bowl of vanilla ice cream at your house, go get it and put a tablespoon of this on top of your vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, and we're definitely putting the Pele's Fury, their new Pele's Fury 3 in next year's Full Circle because we're sick and tired
Everybody
of
loves
getting
it.
beaten by all these people throwing a little bit in there and beating our blend. So
Yeah, and this is also a polarizing one, but I do find like it's more like 66-33 on this one, what people like
yeah,
at
yeah.
tastings. But because if you're a sherry head, you love it, even if it's weird. But if you're not a sherry head, maybe not. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you guys think of this one. But yeah, it's good.
I
There's more
find it
coming.
I find it super interesting that Pele's Fury 1, the unaged version, the pure version, quote unquote, has so much, like savory olive and whatnot. And then this just somehow that 9 months in Oloroso, it's a whole different beast now, which is just so interesting to me. How much you can change with just that short amount of time in a barrel, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's something about these high ester unaged rums. They just,
soak,
man, they just
soak
take
up the
on,
flavor.
yeah, they soak up the flavor so much. It's probably some osmotic thing happening because it's so intense and it's just like,
Yeah,
drawing all that influence
the
so
ba
quickly.
the batch that we put in the Mount Gay rum cask tasted more rummy, and this tastes more winey. So it's kind of
How you feeling
interesting.
now, buddy?
Huh? Thought I heard a question. But yeah, we'll see what happens later. But yeah, they're very different, but they still have the same backbone. So I think it's kind of cool and interesting. It's been a fun experiment. And luckily they're pretty affordable compared to a lot of our other releases. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, to be, I'll be honest. Like this Grana Rome, when we asked them, like, can we get a cask of the Grana Rome? They all laughed at us. They're like, "There's no such thing as a cask of Grana Rome. That's just bulk stuff that we've got mountains of, and like nobody drinks it. We just throw that into blends and stuff. Like, you want it? If you want it, we can put it in a drum and send it to you." We're like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do it."
and it's actually been our second, besides Yowie, it's been our second fastest seller, I think, of all
Oh,
of them.
bless.
Okay, now Jabless. But if you don't include Trinidad, which you have to rule that one out, yeah, it's been our second fastest seller behind Yowie online. So
Yeah. So hopefully, like through all of these tastings, you've seen like it's the diversity of styles and the countries that rum covers is pretty mind-boggling. I mean, we could have we could have thrown in 10 more rums and none of them would have tasted similar to the other.
yeah,
Um,
like Seth was saying, it is the most diverse spirit on the planet. They make it on every continent except for Antarctica, and so far, and it is the most diverse spirit. And I think Seth said that at the very beginning. So just circling back to that, none of them taste alike. You can't
I
say you
think
don't like rum.
I think the IBs like yourselves that offer these, floor of the basement of the sun reaching down to touch a cast kind of thing, like that's irreplicable. It's so fascinating and it's so unique and it's so cool. Like there are always moments where you're kind of going like, man, I'd love to remove the guardrails and just do whatever and do everything for everyone all the time and be a crowd pleasing company that just does everything. And it's hard to keep the bumpers, the gutters up and to try and, play it safe, right? Um, but even then, what you guys are doing is so phenomenal. And I've been a customer for years. I've got the Ascendant Linkwood, Oloroso cast, Scotch you guys did, the Voodoo, the with the
What?
other Westland, the peated you guys did. I've been buying raisin glasses for years because someone came to my tasting room at Broken Barrel and brought bottles of your stuff in from their car. We're like, you have to try what you guys are doing. I'm like, what? Like, you're bringing me like I was like, what's this guy's angle? Like, is he trying to get free tasting out of me? Because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Like, he shows up, he brings his bottles. I'm running a business. I gotta sell him my tasting. Like, what's happening here? I'd never seen that before. And this guy, his name was Alex. he just like starts pouring us stuff, and the whole staff, all my employees, like, oh, free whiskey from somewhere else, and they all start coming out of their offices and tasting the whiskey, and before we know it, the whole round table like, ah, no, I can't charge this guy for the tasting because he's poured my entire staff, expensive bottles. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think we drank any rum, but you know, the net result of that was me and one of my employees were like, let's get some bottles. We're online buying bottles from Raising Glasses. And you can look us up, and we've bought a lot of stuff from you guys, but it's amazing. You guys have the Midas touch. You have picked gold every single time, and everything you touch turns to gold. Literally, it's amazing.
Well, I wish
Oh,
I had some of that gold around here somewhere, but
amazing. It's
All the
amazing.
gold goes back into more casks.
no, but our goal has always been since the beginning is to only buy stuff that we would personally sit around our house and drink because if it doesn't sell, that's what's going to happen, right? So
Yeah.
we've always been really particular about, and we have a tasting panel. Ryan was on our tasting panel for years when he lived here, and where we taste other people on it. But ultimately, it comes down to whatever John and I would drink if we were just sitting at home by ourselves.
That's
Yeah.
not true. I get overruled all the time.
I do
Are you
overrule
kidding?
him.
Ryan's overruled me. She's overruled me. Those are just the big
Taster.
things.
I can do that, but
You guys figured it out. You guys have it figured out.
and I think you do as well. You're doing great stuff. We love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean, finding Bayou that tastes good and just like
Uh, it's one of the
I
bottom.
got I want to say it was a lot of luck, and like, pestering people. I'm sure it sounds like the experience you have with this company in Madeira, where it's like you call them up and you make your case and you present yourself and you pour your heart and soul into it, and then they go, I don't know if I want your know, 2 times market value money for this barrel. And you're like, really? I'm throwing money at you. You don't want it? And they're like, we'll let you know. And they ghost you for a month, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, you have not sold anything over 2 years, and you got a 7-year-old barrel. Let's go. Like, let's do this. I'll give you 3 times whatever. It's crazy. The independent bottling world. It's not new to me because I've done a lot of this work in whiskey, and so I'm somewhat acclimated to the culture of it. But man,
it's relationship driven business. The longer you're in the game, the more
it's
Yeah.
amazing how hard you have to convince people to take your money
Yeah, well, I think it's going to get easier
in
for you
this market.
once they've seen what you've done for these brands. It'll get much easier. Because
Yeah.
I mean, our in the beginning when we were trying to deal directly with distilleries, they're like, "Who are you?" It was like, "We want to buy one whole barrel of your stuff," and they're like, "Go away, little kids. Talk to us when you want to
Yeah.
buy money."
I,
But
and I've
it's
had
easier.
this thing where like people were like, "Oh, we don't have enough for you." Like we were barely hanging on as we are. I'm like, look, I'm not trying to buy like 400 barrels. I just want like 2, 3 to fill out the pallet. That's it. I'm not asking for the sun and the moon here. I just want like a little tiny bit. And trust me, if you sell me 3 barrels, it's gonna take a minute. Like we're brand new. We launched in May of 25. We're brand new. Give us a minute. It'll percolate. Let it rest. Let it fester, right? Um, my whole thing is that like I don't buy young barrels and wait on them to age.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
one
we
thing
can.
I don't have the luxury, I don't have the capital for that. So like I don't have the ability to buy a 3 year and sit on it for 4 years.
Yeah,
That's hard.
we can't afford that either. We've done 6 to 12 month aging second finishes, but
Yeah.
we can't do 3 to 5 years either. It's just the two of us. There's nobody else. There are no employees. There's
No, exactly. I have no employees. I have no investors. I have no outside capital. Like it's
that's fair.
just me, myself, and I figuring it out. I get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. I wish my wife was sitting here with me to like be a part of this, but she definitely does not want to do this.
Well, luckily we
She's
have
like,
Ryan with venture capital money, right, Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan's my work
Oh
buddy.
yeah, dude, this is just a fun hobby. I'm loaded, guys. Let me tell
Yeah,
you
for
what.
sure.
Look at
The
Ryan's
apartment I'm
glasses.
spending an obscene
Ryan's
amount on
glasses
is no problem.
exude uh wealth.
Thank you. That was the whole point. I want to
Okay.
look like a rich asshole. That's my total goal right now.
Got a real Tony Stark vibe to you right now.
Hey, I'll take that. Oh shoot.
He's just
John,
like selling booze so he can follow fish around the country.
you're not wrong. Not gonna
I
lie. No, I think my big takeaway from working with these guys and just being in the rum market a long time, but starting outside the market, like John, Lori, and I met at a whiskey club at a liquor store 15 years ago or whatever. Seth's a whiskey guy. There's a lot of because of how many countries it's made in, because of the lack of regulation, uh, there's a lack of trust in the market, and for good reason. So our whole our mission really is to have our guardrails around what we select, what we bring in, and what we release. You know it's going to be additive free. You know it's going to be natural stuff. You know it's not going to have sugar added after distillation. It's not going to have coconut, essence or whatever in it. So we're trying to build up that trust with everybody in the market to say if it's coming from one of us, you know what to expect out of it. You're not going to be getting any BS. And so that's kind of what's been guiding. I know John and Laura, you guys for a long time, and now Seth, and everything I bring in is the same thing. So we're trying to change it one store at a time, one bar at a time, one drinker at a time, and that's kind of what's been guiding us.
You are totally doing that.
Yep. That's why we love you.
I'll put everybody's Instagram in the chat here. So we would obviously love to have you guys follow us if you enjoyed it today. I'll also say I think if you're in California and you can't find it in market here, go to raisingglasses.com, go to mainland.com and buy it and they'll ship to you. But if you are local and you can find it within a store in the state, that helps a lot because it's all about depletions in the industry. It's all about, I can sell a case or two or three to a store, but if they don't sell it to anybody, like they're not coming back. And what that does is down the road, John and Lori come out with a new release. They might not bring as much in. They might not bring that new release into the store or, somewhere.
Not us. The liquor stores won't bring it in.
Right. Yeah, the
Right.
stores won't bring it in. So, having it here is great because we can do tastings. You can try it before you buy it,
Totally
all that stuff.
Buy it. If you
Yeah.
buy it from Ryan, instead of buying it from me directly, buy it from the liquor store about the same price or less, honestly. And tonight at Vintage, it sounds like substantial, like $20 less than I sell it. Buy a bottle from Vintage, and then Ryan sells them a case, and then I sell Ryan 2 cases, and life is good. Like it had benefits the liquor store, Ryan, and myself to go through the liquor store, and it benefits the customer to save money doing that. Like in Vintage tonight, it just goes completely upstream. It actually that's the way the 3-tier system is intended to work. It doesn't always work out that way, but in this instance, for us small fries, it does work, and it can benefit all of us. If you buy from the retailer sees traction, buys more from the distributor sees traction, buys way more from John, Lori, myself. We all do much better that way.
And you're supporting small business that way. Most of the retailers, not K&L, but most of them, Vintage and High Times, have their small businesses too.
They're independent. They're one-off. They're one store, 2 store.
So you're supporting that small business. You're supporting Ryan's small business. You're supporting our small business.
It ain't Total Wine or Bevmo.
It ain't Total Wine. Our Costco.
Yeah, it's not it's not Costco. It's not Kroger. It's not like some Walmart conglomerate where your money is lost in a sea of billions of dollars. I mean, these companies are generally small and family owned or generationally owned, and you are supporting small business. And I think, I take my money. I tell my wife, my kids, like, spread the money, always spread it out. Like, give it to everybody. Like, don't go to the same coffee shop every week. Don't go to the same donut shop. Don't go to the same, restaurant. Go, even if you like it, like, go spread it around. Go try everything. Life is short.
Yeah. And you guys are in early. I mean, honestly, in Europe, independent bottlers have been bottling good rums for 30 years plus, probably at this point.
Yeah.
Uh, Before John and Lori, there was Rolling Fork and Holmes Key. I mean, and that's five. Rolling Fork was a little longer, but they do a lot of whiskeys mostly. It's only been 5 years or so since we've had companies like these guys that you're sitting here with, focusing on rum and buying and bottling the good stuff for our country. I mean, there are so many releases that John and Laura, you and we've freaking shipped from Germany, from Italy, from all over the place, paid crazy amounts of money to UPS and DHL to get the bottles because we just don't get the respect from the rum market that, Europe and the UK do. So now that we have more bottlers in the US doing it the right way, bottling the right product. It's an exciting time to get into rum. You're still early. You can still find the stuff that, in 5 years, 10 years will sell out immediately, or just dry up. I saw what happened to Scotch in 2012, 2015. I got excited about it. And then all of a sudden, yeah, single barrel, what's that? Never heard of it. Like special release. No, we don't do that anymore. So it's a really good time to be getting into rum and exploring. So that's my piece that I'll say.
I didn't believe it, but the fact that we sold out on Sealbox of like three of our SKUs in a week, I was like, with little to no marketing from my end, I didn't spend a penny marketing it. Like that's crazy. And I think you've had that same success at Raising Glasses with several of your releases. Like I'm not in rum. I'm not in rum by accident. Like I think there's something happening here, not just in American rum, but in rum, high-end rum, luxury rum, sipping rum. There's something happening. You can feel it. There's an energy you can feel it's happening right now. There's no surprise, John, Lori, like you are Scotch and American single malt and all these things, but you're predominantly focused on rum and you're getting out of your comfort zone with blending rum because rum is happening. Like I hate the concept of rum is next, rum like whatever. I hate that like notion. All I want to say is like rum is definitely of interest and rum is certainly having a moment. I wouldn't bet on it like I bet on bourbon or tequila or these things. Like it's not going to suddenly become the, you know, equal and equitable market share as tequila and whiskey did with vodka and so forth. But there's something happening. There's a moment. There's an energy for sure.
Well,
And forget what I said. If you like it, you're in the right place,
You're in the right place. Right place,
I don't
right
need to sell
time.
it to you
That's for
guys.
sure.
I
well,
don't need
we
to sell it to you, and I can't anyway because I can't sell it to consumers. So if you like it, drink it.
Vadim, thank you so much for having us back. We always enjoy hanging with your club. This is a great club. Thanks for inviting us, and Ryan,
Yes, thank you,
thanks
Vadim.
for
And
sponsoring
Jane.
here. It's after midnight here, so we're gonna turn into like
Oh yeah.
I just want to say thank you all for being here. Invite everyone to turn on their cameras for just a second. We'll do our customary photo. So if we can get Jason and Jane back on camera. While I do that, I'm going to share the results for the poll. We voted for our favorite of the night, and honestly, it's all over the place. So there's a lot of good rums tonight.
Oh,
But
that's what we
thank
want to
you
see.
all for coming out tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, everyone smile to your camera. Got it.
thank you again. Thanks so much for the opportunity. It's always fun to present to people.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you,
sharing
guys.
with us.
Ryan,
We'll do it again.
I gotta try the Pele's Fury. I don't think I've had that one.
I got one open for you, buddy. You know
All
where to
right, I'm
find me.
ready for it. Next time I see you.
Good night, guys.
Good night,
Cheers.
guys. Cheers. Take
Good
care.
Thanks,
night.
y'all.
Thank you. Hey, Seth, before I forget, I sent you a link in the chat. Is he gone already? He's gone already. Never mind.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot
he's
to
got to get home to
say,
the kids.
we're doing a tasting next Thursday for with bourbon with Green River. There's still time to sign up for that. But if you're a diehard rum fan and you're in LA and you want to come to the LA Rum Fest, let me know. I can probably get you in. I'm going to be working that event for a brand. So if
What are you working for?
Angostura.
I'm
Oh,
going
nice. Okay.
to the San Francisco event, and there's no way I could do LA. Not with the San Francisco event being just a day later.
So then,
I'll be
yeah, and I
doing
think the San
both.
Francisco event is going to be bigger and better.
I'm pouring at San Francisco too. I'll have a table with Mike from Roaming Road. He'll be pouring with me, as is Robin Smith from Rum It All,
Oh,
the
nice.
LA distiller. So
But then
come
I will
find me.
see in a week.
Awesome.
But if you're not doing the rum tasting, the rum event on Thursday in LA, you should sign up for a Green River tasting over Zoom.
Green River's
Awesome.
hot right now.
Yeah, I'll be in
People are talking.
Scotland, so that's not going to happen.
All right, well, have a
I
great
would take your plan. Yeah.
I already signed
Awesome.
up.
You already signed up? Awesome. Thank you, Jordan.
Come on.
And thank you, Jane, for divvying up all the bottles and sending them out. I know what the shipping world's like. That's not easy. It's a complete pain in the ass. So thank you for doing that.
You're very welcome.
Bravo, Dwayne.
Oh, and the dude Sam was talking about with Stark's Distillery, the one in Pasadena. I met that dude at Sam what's his name? Sam Green did a Penelope tasting downtown like 2 years ago. And through I think it was Drammers Club. And that dude was there. Super interesting. And yeah, I didn't know who he was, but whoever I was talking to happened to know him, and he showed up like 5 samples. It was like 3 rums and 2 single malts, and it was like just crazy shit. So yeah, Vadim, if you could hook up with that guy, it's like interesting, weird, cool stuff, and out of LA. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'll be carrying around some sample bottles with me in LA for the Rum Fest. So I don't know what I'm going to bring yet, but probably stuff I don't sell, just that I've collected over the years, just for fun, for funsies. So come find me there. Come find me in SF. I'll have some good pours for y'all.
Awesome. Thanks all. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Next week.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Enjoy the Bay. Go Bears. Cal Bears, to be clear.